Now, there's been a ceasefire understanding. Pakistan is also, remember, going to beg for water now. Indus Water Treaty, which India, in parts, is releasing too. But it is learned, and this is important. The DGMO-level talks are expected today between India and Pakistan. Pakistan likely to mention Indus Water Treaty suspension. Talks are scheduled at about 12 p.m. This will be over a hotline. Sources say that post that discussion, our three DGMOs, just like yesterday, could address another press conference because it was quite an incredible press briefing yesterday, remember, with details now put in the public domain while the operation is still ongoing, but to help the public understand what precisely happened in the past few days. Indian Air Force struck across the border. India, on the other hand, seems firm that they will not share the water with the rogue neighbor. Sources have told India today, India will not share hydrological information with Pakistan. India will continue to build infra projects on the three northern rivers. Basically means that we have been, out of kindness, constantly releasing water for Pakistan all these years, all these decades, despite themselves sponsoring terror attacks. But there will be a huge price to pay and consequence to show if they continue to massacre our people like we saw on 22nd April in Pahalgam. Sources say Prime Minister Modi spoke to US Vice President J.D. Vance over the phone line, making it clear that if Pakistan attempts another misadventure, that they would get a stronger and a devastating response.
So, without outlining the specifics of that response, I've already made it clear that there will be a response and it will be fierce and it will be punitive. Why the Pakistan army chose the option of violating the understanding that was arrived at earlier yesterday, I think that's a question that we best answered by the Pakistan DGMO. I wouldn't be able to, give you that. But, in situations such as these, and if you go back into any conflict, sometimes these understandings take time, to fructify and manifest on ground. But without, getting into the reasons, it is our mandate to be prepared at all times, and that we were. It's not as if because there was an understanding we weren't prepared. I must tell you that the armed forces were on a very, very high alert, and they continue to be in that state even as we speak.
Shivani Sharma joining me for the latest on that. Shivani, tell me what's expected at about 12 p.m. between the DGMO's meeting and possible a press conference later as well coming from our side.
Pooja, this will be the first planned DGMO talks after the ceasefire was announced on 10th of May. And since then, we've seen the breach by Pakistan and the ceasefire. So certainly that breach of multiple times on 10th of May's night will be raised in this DGMO-level talks. It has already been conveyed to Pakistan. And one more time, the DGMOs will be, when talking, India will be raising and giving out a stern warning to Pakistan that not to break this understanding, and if it happens, we are on a high alert on all fronts. So we'll be responding in a very strong manner, and we'll be hitting very hard. That would be the warning that will be going from India's side that we've understood from the briefings that have happened. And today also at 2:30 p.m. Post these talks, there'll be a meeting of DGMO level of Army, Navy and Air Force. So not only about these DGMO level talks, what will be done today, there will be some briefing, the debrief about this, and also the assessment. And
that you've updated us with 2:30 p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. There's going to be a press briefing on Operation Sindoor by the DGMO or equivalent from the Indian Navy, the Indian Air Force, the militaries as well. This will be after the 12 p.m. hotline conversation. Shivani, so 2:30 p.m. we are expecting that press conference to come in from our DGMOs, but it's going to be important. I expect a brief discussion over the hotline. But you've pointed out, which is very important, that unlike the hotline conversation that happened on day one, which was primarily after we struck at their military targets, this one would be more of a discussion on how to take it ahead.
Pooja, we must tell our viewers that the DGMO level hotline mechanism talks have been there in place, and every Tuesday as an agreed schedule, it keeps on happening all the time. But after Operation Sindoor, this would be the first stern warning talk that will be happening from DGMO of India's side, because we've seen how Pakistan has breached the ceasefire multiple times even after that understanding was arrived on 10th of May. So certainly this will be a message to the DGMO of Pakistan that not only we are prepared and alert at the highest order on all our front lines, but also that if you indulge any kind of misadventure once again, we know how to deal with that. So a very strong message that will be going across, and also an assessment update of the past 2 days will be put across by India, and a warning, because Pakistan has already broken that trust and brought a lot of myth with the DGIS PR briefings. So today when we see this briefing at 2:30, we'll also see how once again the DGMOs will divulge the details not only of the Operation Sindoor and the military action we took against Pakistan, but also myth busting of Pakistan.
Stay on with me, Shivani, because more and more news consistently coming in. So one, there's going to be at 12 p.m. a hotline discussion between the DGMOs of India and Pakistan. 2:30 p.m. we can expect details of that and other operational details, as much as, of course, possible would be from our military, Indian Air Force, Indian Navy, Indian Army, DGMOs or equivalent senior officers are going to address that press conference. So that's the latest coming in. Shivani, let's stay on with this, because at 2:30 p.m. I'm expecting, just like yesterday, it would be an awaited press conference. Yesterday, what I found very interesting was that enough was said and no more. So there was evidence put to the public domain about before and after, ground evidence as much as satellite imagery and more, but also not revealing more. Is it because possibly the Operation Sindoor is still ongoing?
Pooja, Operation Sindoor is still ongoing. That has been clarified by the Indian government, that this is a new normal. This is not just one operation and over. So now whenever we'll see any kind of act of terror against India's military establishment and the Indian civilians, we will be carrying forward another strike to Pakistan. So the operation continues, but three important things that broadly we can say about yesterday's briefing. First, the damage inflicted on Pakistan, its air assets, the personnel that have been lost there. Second, the warning that once again comes for Pakistan, that if you keep on doing this, we know how to deal with it, because whatever we've been doing, it was a retaliation to the escalation what Pakistan was doing, and it was our response was quite measured and only a precision response. But the warning is there that if it is done again, that we can know we will hit harder, and that's what Prime Minister has also told US Vice President. The third very important thing is that all the Indians should be assured of India's capabilities. We are on the highest state of alert on all our borders. All our assets are activated all the times. We cannot trust Pakistan. So the operation is on, the warning is on, and also the damage that has been inflicted on Pakistan is quite evident.
Shivani, thank you for now.